Hey everyone, Agnach here. Welcome to another video. It's finally here, the attack many pros will hate. They don't like witches and they don't like super witches. So what are we gonna do today? We are gonna combine both of them. This attack is quite strong and this is the army composition I have been using. 2 super wall breakers, 4 healers, 7 witches, 3 super witches and a head hunter, as well as a couple of wizards just for cleanup. Spells I bring are the 5 lightning and 2 earthquake spells. You can bring 6 lightning and 1 earthquake if that's your preference, 1 jump, a freeze, a rage and a brand new invisibility spell. In the CC I usually bring 5 Valks and a hog in the siege barracks, but I have started testing this CC with the super wizards and I have a replay using this CC and they're quite strong in the siege barracks as well. So wait and see the replay. So let's go to the first attack. Okay, so for the first attack is in war. I've got a couple of war replays and then I've got a few Legend League replays as well. So I'm using the Warden Walk at 6 and using the 5 lightning and the earthquake spell for the single inferno and to damage the queen a little bit. Then I sent the hog to the cannon there just to pull the CC with the 2 super minions. Now that's gonna be biting me in the bum because the super minions made me use the queen ability here. I used a super wall breaker, but even though I had to use the queen ability nice and early, she's still gonna stay alive for a little bit longer. I put my siege barracks and my king at 3 just to create a bit of a funnel and put the jump so that everything that is still alive goes into the center of the base. Usually I put the siege barracks and the king with around 3 witches behind them just to create a bit of a funnel, and then I send the super witches with my queen and the rest of the witches behind to go into the base. That's usually what I do. So everything is going inside. I still have my royal champ ability. Use it over here. The royal champ goes towards the eagle, the super witches and the witches and the big boys are going through the wall, and now it's just that scatter that goes down and this base is done. So I do believe that super witches and the witches do work well together. As I said, I usually use a few for funneling and then the rest for the center of the base. And as I said before, in the siege barracks I usually bring 5 arcs and a hog. It usually trims all the outside buildings and it makes it a little bit faster. Over here I've got this attack from Coco. He used it on the Supercell, the in-game CWL. He brings 4 super witches and less normal witches. It's really up to you what you want to do. So he did the same thing with the zaps and the Warden Walk. And then he has his king funneling, it was over there, but then now he puts the siege barracks at 8:30 just to funnel the other side. His main pack goes inside into the tank hall, and he's got what's that? It's just a normal witch getting rid of the single inferno. Puts the jump in so that everything goes into the center. With the super witches, you don't want them walking around around the base. You want them to be inside the base just to get the most value out of them. Obviously you don't want them to be in the center and getting hit by everything without you being able to get rid of it, otherwise that's going to be smashing the super witches. But yeah, the best use for them is to be inside the base, getting rid of the core. Now he sends his royal champion from 3:30, getting rid of the rest of the defenses on the outside. He still has the royal champ ability, uses it, the cannon goes down, and then it's just clean up. Very nice attack by Coco here in the in-game CWL. Now this is the attack where I changed my CC troops. So instead of having the 5 arcs and the hog, I brought 4 super wizards and 5 archers. To be honest, it was by mistake, but it ended up surprising me how good they were. Usually people are bringing those 4 super wizards with the blimp to do the invisibility spell and to do that little giant bomb that people are calling blizzards. So I put my siege barracks and my king at 12 just to create the other side of the funnel. Send a couple of super wall breakers, which is another good thing with this update, that you can bring 2 super troops. So I've got the super witches and the super wall breakers and everything goes in, but I'm just focusing on these super wizards. Have a look at these super wizards. They just came out of the siege barracks and see how much value they're getting here, trimming all the defenses. So it's a couple of witches with them, so they're sending in the skellies that are tanking for the super wizards, and then they're coming in, and if they're targeting any container, look at how much value they're getting, and they're still alive. And pretty much the rest of the base got wrecked by the super witches and the witches in the center of the base, and the wizards were trimming the outside buildings nicely. The giant bomb kills them, but the base is done. So yeah, it's something you might want to try. I'm just trying it now. So over here we've got all these Legend League bases with the ring base, so I just wanted to show you how this army can do against ring bases, since Legends League has quite a fair bit of them. So I use my Lightning and Earthquakes for the Expo, Scatter and Inferno with the Warden Walk at 6. Now another little tip, if you're bringing the 2 Earthquakes, the new level of Expo there does require the 5 Lightning spells and the 2 Earthquakes. However, the older one, like the lower level, I think it's level 7, it only needs still the 5 and 1. So the way to tell if it's a level 7 or a level 8, underneath in the center of the center of the Expo, there's a little ring, and the ring is usually purple if it's level 7, and if it's orange it's already level 8. So the level 8 is the one where you're gonna need the 2 Earthquakes and the 5 Lightning spells, just in case that you go into a Legends League base and you're not quite sure what level it is. That's a little tip that I can give you. So over here we've gotten rid of the center of the base, and now all these super witches and witches with the queen and the warden are just going to be walking around the base, getting rid of the rest of the defenses. A lot of skellies to tank that scatter shot. Now it's finally hitting my queen and the super witches, but the super witches won't die if this healer's healing them to a scatter shot, so that's really good. I think all of my super witches were still alive, except now that she got healed by a single inferno, but we still have the queen ability, so I use it, get rid of the single inferno, and this base was wrecked as well. Now we've got another ring base, quite famous ring base as well. So I put my warden at 1230. I'm gonna be lining the Expo, the Scatter, and the Mortar and the Wiz Tower. So just damaging the Wiz Tower and the Mortar, but now the warden can get rid of it, so I created a bit of a funnel. Then I put my king and the siege barracks at 3 with 3 witches, just to create that outside bit of the funnel. Send my super wall breaker at 230, just so that my main army goes in. Send another super wall breaker so that it's open and they can go into the center. The CC comes out, it's the lava pop, so now we just have to get rid of that nice and quickly. Put my rage down and everything starts moving into the base. The queen is going to take the jump and she's going to go for the temple now that she's gotten rid of the eagle, and the rest of the army is walking through. All my super witches are walking with my witches, so they're all complementing each other. The witches sending all of the skellies which tank all the point defenses, and then you have the super witches which send the big boys that tank all of the heavier type of defenses as well. So they just complement each other. They get rid of the queen nice and quickly. We still have our royal champion getting rid of the Expo, and then it's just these back and defenses. We still have plenty of arcs, the Pekka, a lot of super witches. I don't think any of them have died, and quite a few witches as well. Now we've got this one, it's also kind of a ring base, but it's quite popular on Legends League as well. So I start my warden at 3, use the lightning spell for the scatter, use the earthquake just to deal some damage from the inferno, and the scatter goes down. Now another thing, that from the CC I've got the rage, so if I don't need to use it with the warden, although in this occasion because of the storages I wanted to really get rid of that multi-inferno, but you don't want to waste too much time with your warden walk. If you waste too much time, you're gonna time fail. Like, your army will be really strong, but you won't be able to finish the whole base. So if you need your warden to get a building and there's a lot of storages or whatever, and you did put your warden there, don't be afraid to use that rage on the warden. Usually with the witches and the super witches, you don't really need the rage. They will just plow through the base nice and quickly as well. So put my jump there, they'll go into the center of the base, the tank goes down, use the invisibility spell on my royal champion so that she can get rid of that scatter shot, and she continues to 9 o'clock. The Molten Inferno goes down, get rid of the cannon, and we still have all our the super witches and a few witches in the center of the base. Now the royal champion is going to go down. I've got a couple of wizards there just cleaning the storages, which is going to help me with time, which is why I bring also a couple of wizards just to help with time. Use the queen ability. We still have that Molten Inferno that is getting everything, but we still have big boys and skellies, and the army goes down. Finally, this is another Legend League base that I just did. I must say with this one, probably I should have used the lightning spell on the mortar, AD and archer tower. It would have helped me with the funneling a little bit more, so in retrospective that's what I would have done, but I wanted to damage that eagle with the 5 lightning spells, so that's why I did that. And I was hoping that Warden was going to be going towards those defenses, but he didn't. So then I started with my king and my siege barracks with the 3 witches at 9 o'clock just to create the other side of the funnel. Send my queen, the 3 super witches, my witches, a couple of Cocoloons, send my super wall breaker. Now that inferno, single inferno compartment, it took my second super wall breaker. Otherwise I could have used the super wall breaker there for the town hall. That's what I wanted. So since my super wall breaker was useless, I had to put the jump there just to make sure something goes inside the town hall. Put the freeze down just to make sure the town hall goes down, and that's pretty much the plan that I had, was for them to start going around the base in a clockwise formation. The queen with the warden and the super witch decided to go on the opposite side, but that's fine, it still worked. I sent my royal champ just to complement the army that did go clockwise, just to make sure that those defenses are down. Now she goes down. We still have the queen ability. She's gonna beat through the wall, but at least it was tanking the scatter shot enough that the super witches were able to go through. Now the queen gets rid of the scatter shot, and this is another triple. As you can see, this witch hybrid is quite strong, and it just adds one more army that can be used at Town Hall 13. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time with more Clash. See ya.